Hunting mountain whitetails during the rut has become one of my favorite hunts. There's just something about being cold all the time while watching these animals do what they were created to do. Anyone that is fortunate enough to get out onto these mountains knows that anything can happen, and you just never know what might show up when there's a hot doe in the area. Unfortunately, it was slow for the first few days. There were lots of doe activities, but the big bucks just weren't moving during the daytime, or I was just in the wrong area. I saw a handful of small bucks in this spot. If you remember watching my 2021 video, this is where I shot that wide 4x4 buck. This young buck was standing about 20 yards from where I shot the other buck back in 2021. Well, it's about 10:30 now. I don't know how well you guys can hear me with all this wind, but the morning was okay. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. I saw a 2x1 again this morning, 2 does, and then one I couldn't identify, and then I glassed up 2 or 3 on the other hillside, and then you guys just saw that small basket that came out. So it's not too bad. It's freaking windy though. It's been blowing 10-15 all day. So it's pretty cold just because of the wind. If it wasn't windy, it wouldn't be bad at all. But I'm hoping something big steps out. I'm surprised the bucks aren't. I guess they're moving, just not through here. But who knows? Hopefully something steps out, something big. I've thought about going into the timber and try rattling in there. I've been rattling here every now and then too, but it's hard to film by yourself trying to rattle and trying to call in deer, especially from the ground. So, or especially when it's thick too. It's hard to move. It's hard to do everything together. That's for sure. But I'm just gonna probably stick it out here. And if I don't see anything again later this evening, then I'll make a game plan for tomorrow. But it's a update. Pretty windy. Hopefully it dies down. So we'll see how it goes. The next morning we got some weather. Rain, snow, and wind gusts up to 20 miles per hour. After seeing nothing but moose, I decided to move locations for the evening. Right as I got to this spot, I saw this buck come out of the tree line. I knew immediately he was a shooter buck. He was over 400 yards away, but as you can see, he was moving quickly. I was trying to get set up for a shot, but because I was new to this area and did not know the lay of the land, I lost sight of him and was never able to relocate him. Shortly after I had glassed up this group of deer, I was hoping this was the same buck, but as you can see, he is much smaller, so I just watched him for the rest of the evening. The next morning, my brother and I went back to the same spot where I saw that shooter buck. It was a foggy morning, but as we got daylight, we caught a glimpse of some deer coming out of the tree line. Does. Big doe. Just a big doe. Two does. There's one above it. Yep, there's one above it. Basket buck. There's a basket buck above him. You see him? He's a 4x4 basket. Small buck chasing does. Over the weekend, my dad was able to come out and experience the Whitetail Rut for the first time. I wished I could have shot a nice buck the few days he was there, but as luck would have it, we saw nothing that got either of us excited. The least I could do was make sure my dad ate good, so I made sure to bring out some fatty pork meat and cooked it over a fire for him. At this point, deer season was almost over. If I remember correctly, there were only 4 days left. I was beginning to get desperate, and I was constantly having inner battles in my head on whether I should shoot the next buck I saw. If this buck would have stopped long enough for me to film and shoot, I definitely would have shot him. I glassed up this big mature buck after the other buck walked out of my view. He was over 2,000 yards away. With a few hours left, I decided to cut the distance in hopes of relocating him again. What time is it? Despite my effort, I never turned him back up. He was in this area earlier, but is nowhere to be found. With the doe still in the area, I was really hoping he would show himself again. On my last day, I glassed up this buck off in the distance. After a quick debate with myself, I decided to give it one last shot to fill my tag. I had a couple 100 feet of elevation to drop and over 1,000 yards of ground to cover. Time was against me, so I quickly grabbed my gear and started the hike over. Last day, last hour buck. He's not big, he's a 4x4, but I glassed him up from a far ways away. I've been trying to find a big buck that I found 2 days ago, and haven't been able to find anything, and well, find him, and haven't seen much for buck activity. And I was posted up there, I was like, man, if I can't glass a buck from here, then I don't know what's happening. But it's post-rut, it's November 30th, and I'm pretty sure I just smoked that buck at 600 yards. It looked like a shoulder shot from here. He's a little quartering to me, just slightly, the slightest quarter in my opinion, but I am far from my truck, so I still got 600 yards to get to that buck. And then once I get there and find him, I'm just gonna leave it, book all the way back to my truck, and drive around. Fingers crossed, guys. Oh man, I was contemplating shoot a doe so bad this morning, but I was like, man, I'm not gonna shoot anything besides a buck. So very thankful for the opportunity, man. I've been hunting hard and long, so camera's gonna die. I gotta grab my stuff and I gotta book it. Gotta go find that buck, and hopefully it's dead. I heard a hit, and I just watched the footage. Looked like it hit him hard. 300 short mag, shooting 180s. So let's go look for him. All right, guys. I finally made it to where I shot the buck. Sorry if it's all foggy looking. It's cold. I don't think it's above the 30s today, but boogers on my face, so be it. But oh man, gotta pick up my hat. The annoying part is I was just right there yesterday. But pretty sure I saw him right by that tree right there. This one right here. As you can see blood right here. Decent blood. And this way. This bushes. Around. Go here. Looking around that tree. Go over here. There. Boom. Piled up. Right there. Thank the Lord. I went about 15 yards. Small 8. Man. Sorry for the footage. I am out of breath. Try to make it over here before it gets dark, but looks like he came right here and then piled up right there. And zoom it out so it doesn't look all funky when I move. Oh, I wonder if it's the same buck I saw a couple days ago. I don't know, I'll have to go look at the footage. But what a buck. Last day to hunt for me. Season ends tomorrow. I could stay till tomorrow, but I told my wife I'd go home to her since I've been gone for pretty much 11 days. I think it's the longest I've been away from her, and I miss her a lot. So I've been contemplating shooting a doe all day, but I'm just like, you know what, if I'm not gonna shoot a buck, I'm not gonna shoot anything at all. So I glassed this buck up over a mile away, had to drop down elevation, get on the skid row below me, and then book it. And then I actually wanted to get closer, but there was 3 moose to that little knob that I was sitting at yesterday. I was like, man, if I go there, I'm gonna bump those moose and I'm gonna bump the buck. So I just found a spot where I was, picked him back out, and I just basically moved a little bit just to get a better view of him. I just basically waited until he stepped out enough to where I could shoot him, because my phone battery is dying. Everything is dying because of this cold. So, yep, freaking thank the good Lord for the opportunity to hunt. And you know, although I wasn't able to relocate that Mondo Big 8 I glassed up 2 days ago, this guy will do. Last day for me, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity, very thankful to God. My truck is about 2.5 miles from here, so I'm gonna snap some pics real quick, figure out what I'm gonna do, and then go from there. But what a great hunt, what a great day. And this year it's actually been very mild snow wise and temp wise too. During the rut it was fairly warm, so I felt like most of the rut activity was happening at night, and it made it hard to spot bucks. But fortunately, if I average it out, I've seen like a buck per day. Seen 2 really big bucks, and I'm pretty sure I saw this buck the other day too. I'm not sure if it's him or not. We'll have to look at the footage. You guys will see. But I mean, sorry for the lack of footage for today. I was not very anticipating shooting anything today, so I hardly filmed at all until I spotted this buck. So enough jibber jabber. We'll pull him out, get some pics, figure something out, and go from there.